Welcome to another episode of Rooster Talk. We haven't had one for a while. We're going to have a quick update here with Mike Bohm, who's from Riedel Resources. We're here at the UWA Club in Crawley in Netherlands. Mike had a coffee with Samso and gave us a good interview of what the Kingman project was in Arizona, and they've just had an announcement yesterday, and on Jim's mine. So look, I'll hand it over to you, Mike.
Thanks, Noel. Thanks for having us back.
Yeah.
No, it just was a good chance to follow up. We put out those very high grade results back in March from our drilling around Tintic and Merrimack, and as we alluded to back then, we were going down to we were still drilling at that point in time. And yesterday we announced the results from Jim, predominantly from around Jim's, and we were really excited. It was a great result. You've seen them yourself, and you know that what the shallow polymetallic means, and those grades are really exciting.
Look, one of the things I picked up obviously was that it was your first drilling program on the prospect, and you're getting the consistency. You're getting 3 holes, and you're getting down dip. And you're actually getting the kicks down dip as well, which is really, to me, it sort of confirms mineralisation air system, right? Yep. How do you guys see that?
Well, for us, the interesting thing is that Jim's is purely exploration. I mean, we went down. We've got a 1.8 kilometre long geophysical anomaly with a tiny little shaft sitting halfway along it, and no other data. It's never been drilled. We've got no records of it ever having been drilled, and to go down there and drill holes into it and come back with shallow polymetallic mineralisation with gold, silver, lead, and zinc, and the grades are substantial. Was really exciting, and not just one hole, but to have multiple holes. So we're sitting there going, well, we've got at least 2 veins. We know that they're mineralised with polymetallic. It's 1.8 kilometres long. We have no idea what it might do at depth. What could this be? How big and exciting could this be?
I know last time we had a conversation, and you sort of steered away from my thoughts of this being a VMS, and we've had a prior discussion to this. But look, I couldn't. Well, first of all, I saw down deep consistency. Then I said, hey, there's a 4.3% zinc there. Now, come on, Mike can't deny that I'm smelling VMS here.
Yeah, look, again, being a mining engineer, I will defer to the geologists and their interpretation. We know that we know there's a lot of mineralisation going on there. There's a lot happening geologically and structurally. We know that, and we've only released probably less than half the holes from Jim's. We've got more to come out next month in May, as you know, in addition to some additional drilling at Merrimack and Helen May and Starlight. But we've still got more information to come, and what I'd like to do is have all that information to hand and put that together and have the geologists not only look at the assay results, but look at the drill chips and log all the chips and put all the picture together, and then come back and tell me what they think it is. But it's looking really exciting. I mean, to go out and have a situation where you're drilling what is essentially a brand new property, and getting a strike rate of at least half the holes hitting significant mineralisation, be it the very high grades at Tintic, the high grades at Merrimack, what we're seeing at Arizona Magma, Starlight and Helen May, and then to go down and get, as you say, multiple holes with those hits down at Jim's. It's just an extraordinary strike rate. So again, early days, it's exploration and all that. But it's not boring rock we have, as I've said before.
I mean, there is obviously the divergence of thinking with the market and what we think is value in terms of what we think. For whatever reasons, people buy and sell. But I think that you've created a situation where you're almost a very, very interesting company that's, for what the word meaning of the word, which I sometimes don't like to use, being undervalued or whatever. But what's value, right? But again, you're a new prospect. What I can't get over the fact is that you've gone to somewhere, you come up with this, and the market just said.
Well, the market will react as the market reacts. I mean, my view on this is if you put out an announcement in in March of 3.8 metres at 98 grams a tonne, then people would like to see that repeated every time you put an announcement out. So for us, we had those great results 4 weeks ago, back in March. And for us, these are terrific results. I mean, they are geologically and project-wise, and what it points to might be there. They're terrific results. But yeah, the market likes to see, particularly the retail shareholder, they like to see high grade every time, and as good as, if not better than last time. It is what it is. But our geologists are excited, our major shareholders are excited, and we're just sticking to our knitting.
You know, for you guys out there who's watching, and I'm thinking, you know, I'll sort of, you gotta sit back and think how many mines carry those big grades, and they in the deposit itself there's going to be high grade and low grade. That's why there's a term low grade and high grade. But when you look at it, you know, 98 grams it's very high, it's fantastic, but you're not going to see a deposit that carries 98 grams average grade, which is, you know, so for me it's interesting, and it's actually created opportunities that makes it into that interesting. As Alan Kelly says, exploration geologist loves this word, interesting.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it is interesting. And if we'd gone down to gyms and drilled and hit nothing, that would have been really disappointing. But to go back and have multiple hits of lead, zinc, silver, and gold, as you mentioned, and you can draw a line and join the dots on some of the holes, yeah, it's really exciting. And Tintic is still there. Tintic has still got the high grades. It's still open to the south. It's still open down depth. Merrimac's intriguing because Merrimack was started as a high grade silver mine, then it was a silver gold mine, and we're getting hits there as we saw last month. So there's a lot there. I mean, more than half our holes are hitting significant mineralisation. So we just want to build on that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, if you went to gyms and found nothing, I guess the narrative then would be that, you know, it's a good negative, and we know where not to go.
No, well, we are spoilt for choice with drill targets, and that's one of the issues that somebody mentioned to me. Look, just keep drilling. You know, could we have money in the bank? We could just drill a few more holes, drill another 2,000 metres. But the issue we have, and as a geologist put it to me quite strongly, we've got so many targets. We want to drill the next holes wisely. And so we've got to prioritise where we think the next holes should be. You know, obviously Tintic, gyms, Merrimack are high priorities, but the team really want to sit back, get all the results, because we don't have all the results. We'll have them all next month, but as we sit here today, there's still a batch of assays that we're waiting for, and we'll get them in. But I would rather have the problem of having too many high grade targets to chase than not having any.
I think the important part I like to emphasise, and I want to say it, is, you know, this is a result where you can join dots, and it's not a dot, which could be very good too. I mean, but if you can join the dots, it's a lot better, right? And all the outstanding assays is from gyms.
No, the outstanding assays to go, we've got gyms and Merrimack are the bulk of it, but also Starlight and Helen May. Okay. But it's interesting when you say you draw the lines and join the dots. If you have a look at where Tintic is, because where we've drilled and hit those very, very high grade gold and silver results, that's right at the north. And there's a 700 metre geophysical anomaly that heads straight towards gyms. That's completely open. Never been drilled, but we see it in the geophysics. And then if you go to gyms itself and you look at it, there's a 1.8 kilometre anomaly that you can see in the geophysics. It's straight up and down. So we know that we've got kilometres of potential, and we know that every time we drill holes into this thing, we hit mineralisation, and so we're just keen to keep going.
That's a good problem to have.
It is a good problem to have.
So going forward, what's the news flow? What's going to be happening? I mean, now you've got your first batch of results back from the last time we spoke. What's going forward?
So we've got one more batch of results to come. They might come in two batches. Like we've got one more round. I think they'll all come in May, and we'll probably get them, as I said, in two components, because at the moment with the laboratories, you give them the samples and you get them when you get them. You can't, unless you want to pay to prioritise them, and it's quite expensive to pay to prioritise. We get them when we get them. So they might come in one batch, they might come in two. I suspect they'll come in two, but still hopefully we'll get them all in May. We're doing some geophysics at the moment, and then the geologists will have had the chance to have a look and build a plan for the next phase.
Yeah, there's a few rare comments from a mining engineer praising a geologist.
Well, I mean, our team have done a great job, and I know you've heard me say this before, but the only person that's not US based is me, right? Everyone else is based over there. And so they're the same team that did the 2019 diamond drill program, same team that did this 5,000 metre RC program, and a 56-hole program over 3 months. That's a big program. Yeah. We did it on time, we did it on budget, we did it safely. The authorities are happy with us. We're getting the results in a timely manner. And I think we raised our money in December and we started drilling on 26th of January in another country in a time of a pandemic. So I think it speaks volumes for the team, but also the reality is that because the US is a country with great infrastructure and access to people like Bort Longyear and consultants, it's actually, if you're on the ground, you can get work done. It's not like there are some challenging places we've all worked in that are a bit harder to logistically operate. We're 3 miles off an interstate highway, and we're 25 minutes drive from a town of 30,000 people. So the capacity to do stuff, and that's important going forward too, because not only do we have this mineralisation with shallow, which means that if you have early success, and we've had early success, you can build on that quickly because you're not drilling 500 metre deep holes. I look forward one day to having to drill a 500 metre deep hole, but you can leverage off what's there and move quickly through the next phase. So we've had great results this time. You can move quickly through the next phase, you can interpret those results and build on there as you advance the project. So we're blessed with that. It's kind of like being in Australia, if you like. It's
Well, it works well for you guys. I mean, like you said, you're the only one that's here. You shouldn't be next to a rig anyway, so no. the business is business as usual.
I like being next to the rig. I do enjoy getting there, but I don't have to be there. That's the point. I don't see myself getting back there till early next year. That's what I've told my wife and my team anyway. But no, you're right. I don't need to be there, and
well, you shouldn't be.
No. If I needed to be there, we've got a problem.
Yeah. So, well, that's right.
Yeah. If we're ever digging a hole, as a mining engineer, I'd want to be there.
Yeah. Well,
but right now, the team there are doing a great job.
Yeah. I mean, there's no doubt after the takeaway from our last coffee of Samso, I mean, it is a very mineralised area, but you definitely it's a cooking spot anyway.
Yeah, it is, and we've still got 4 weeks ago we had very high grade at Tintic, high grade at Merrimack, and Jim's was an exploration target. We've now still got very high grade at Tintic. We've still got high grade at Merrimack, and we've now shown that 1.8 kilometre long exploration target is juiced up, and that's for us. That's a terrific spot to be in.
All right, mate. Thank you, and it's a fantastic update. And look, guys, again, I say to you guys, reach out to Mike and get it from the horse's mouth. And till the next time, we'll keep talking.
Terrific. Thanks, Noel. Thanks
All
very
right.
much. Good on you. Cheers.